allergic to it.
Well, I'll try to remember that, Eddie.
Gee, Mrs. Cleaver, your hair really does
You
look...
said that, Eddie. And then, honey, I want you to put on your best suit. You've been invited over to the Donaldsons.
Have you ever sat in front of the small screen, laughing out loud at the innocent mischiefs of Beaver and the Cleaver family, feeling the warmth of a show that seemed like it would never go off the air? Millions of people around the world once immersed themselves in that world, treating Leave It to Beaver as a sweet remedy, soothing all the stress in life. But then, one day, everything suddenly collapsed when the show abruptly went off the air, leaving behind a void full of regret. From being a symbol of the American happy family, Leave It to Beaver quickly became the center of rumors and endless debates about the secrets hidden behind the scenes. A seemingly harmless scene suddenly became a hotspot, triggering a chain of events that sparked a strong reaction from the public and the censors. So what was that scene? And why did it have the power to stir public opinion, turning a carefree family sitcom into a story full of twists and suspense? As the layers of secrets were revealed, everything only became more thrilling, leading us on a journey to discover 20 shocking truths, explaining the inevitable downfall of Leave It to Beaver and stirring up an unquenchable sense of regret in the hearts of fans. 20. Becoming the center of controversy because of a toilet? In the context of 1950s American television, where everything had to be clean, proper, and maintain the image of a perfect family, Leave It to Beaver caused a storm simply because of a toilet. In one episode, a bathroom scene inadvertently revealed the image of a toilet, something utterly normal in everyday life but considered an absolute taboo on television. Audiences at the time were stunned. Parents were outraged, believing the show brought vulgarity to family dinners. The press immediately dissected the issue, calling it an act that pierced the moral wall of American television. NBC found itself in a tough spot. On one hand, the show was still immensely popular. On the other, they faced intense censorship pressure from the public. That seemingly harmless toilet became a symbol of the clash between everyday reality and the artificial standards television upheld. It sparked an unprecedented series of controversies, causing the entire series to be reluctantly labelled shocking. 19. Beaver nearly lost the role in a fateful casting. When Jerry Mathers, an innocent 8-year-old, walked into the audition for Leave It to Beaver, no one expected his offhand remark would nearly cost him the biggest opportunity of his life. When the director asked, "Are you excited about today's audition?" Jerry bluntly replied that he would rather go watch baseball than sit here. The room fell silent, and many thought the boy had shot himself in the foot, losing the role over a candid comment. But it was that very frankness and innocence that made the production team nod in approval. They realised no other child actor could portray the naivety and authenticity of Jerry in real life. Beaver needed to be a boy, truly a child, unpretentious and uncalculated. And so, in an unexpected twist, Jerry Mathers was chosen, becoming Beaver, a face that would go down in American television history. If this mischievous boy hadn't been cast, would the Beaver we watched have been as captivating? Share your thoughts below. 18. The pilot episode mysteriously vanished for 3 decades. On April 23, 1957, audiences were first introduced to the Cleaver family through a pilot episode titled It's a Small World. But right after airing, the original tape disappeared without a trace. For years, fans and film collectors believed it had been destroyed, becoming a lost shadow in American television history. This legend further fueled curiosity as generations of fans tirelessly searched, wrote letters to the network, and scoured archives, all to no avail. The pilot episode gradually turned into a myth, a missing piece that made the journey of Leave It to Beaver even more mysterious. It wasn't until 1987, after 30 long years, that the tape was unexpectedly found in an archive in Illinois. Its reappearance before the public was nothing short of unearthing a treasure long forgotten in the past. For audiences, it wasn't just an old episode, but the key to unlocking the first chapter of a television legacy. 17. A director obsessed with suffocating discipline. The behind the scenes of Leave It to Beaver was far from the warm atmosphere on screen. The director and writers were famously strict, almost obsessive, setting a rule. Every actor, even children as young as a few years old, had to memorize their lines perfectly. A single misspoken word meant the entire scene had to be reshot from the start, with no exceptions. For child actors like Jerry Mathers and Tony Dow, this was immense pressure. While their peers were playing outside, they were stressed over every word in front of the camera. But it was this ruthless discipline that gave the show its polish and smooth dialogue, setting a standard for 1950s American sitcoms. This harsh discipline inadvertently created a second school for the child actors, a place where every line was a test, and every episode was an exam they could never afford to fail. 16. Beaver's real name shocked audiences. Throughout hundreds of episodes, audiences grew accustomed to the goofy but lovable Beaver. Yet few knew that Beaver was just a nickname. In the script, the character's full name was Theodore Cleaver. This detail was mentioned a few times, but most viewers either overlooked it or treated it as a passing joke. The nickname Beaver came from childhood, when his brother Wally mispronounced Theodore, turning it into an endearing name that became official. From then on, America forgot Theodore Cleaver, remembering only Beaver, the clumsy boy who became a symbol of childhood. This confusion turned the nickname into a brand, so much so that many loyal fans, when asked, "What's Beaver's real name?" hesitated, unable to believe the character tied to their memories had another identity. 15. A television sentence for women. If Beaver was a symbol of American childhood, June Cleaver became a symbol of the perfect wife and mother, an image some viewers called fake. In every scene, June appeared in flowing dresses, perfect hair, subtle makeup, and high heels, even when cleaning the house or cooking. In the 1950s, this image was celebrated as the standard American women should aspire to: gentle, beautiful, always caring for her husband and children without complaint. But as society evolved, June Cleaver became a controversial symbol. Scholars called it a television sentence for women because it created an unrealistic mold, putting pressure on millions of wives and mothers in real life. The image of June Cleaver was both celebrated and harshly criticized, forever remaining one of the most dual-natured legacies of American television. What do you think of this character? Do you admire this idealized image or find it too artificial? Share your thoughts in the comments. 14. Ward Cleaver's disappearance. Hugh Beaumont, the actor who played Ward Cleaver, the calm and strict father, once vanished for an entire season. The reason wasn't script-related, but due to personal matters, as Hugh had to step away because of private commitments that prevented him from keeping up with the demanding filming schedule. This disappearance put the writers in a tough spot. A family show couldn't lack the father, but they couldn't abruptly replace the actor either. As a result, they had to improvise with numerous scenarios, focusing more on June, Wally, and Beaver to fill the void left by Ward. Audiences at the time hardly noticed the prolonged absence, but for those closely following, it was a real shock. Ward was the family's pillar, the embodiment of the ideal American father. His absence for an entire season shook the perfect image of the Cleaver family on television. 13. Not allowed to wear jeans during filming. While jeans were becoming a symbol of rebellious youth in 1950s America, in Leave It to Beaver, they were almost entirely absent. Why? The producers feared that if Beaver or Wally wore jeans too often, children across America would imitate and dress sloppily without standards. So, for several seasons, Beaver mostly appeared in neat shorts or khakis. Even when playing or roughhousing, his outfits had to maintain a model image for American kids. This inadvertently reflected the era's obsession with television control. Every detail, even the pants a boy wore, could become a tool for education and societal standardization. 12. The first kiss scene cut for an unthinkable reason. In one episode, Wally, the handsome older brother, had a scene kissing his girlfriend at high school. It was just a light, fleeting kiss, fitting the awkwardness of adolescence. Yet, for NBC, the scene was deemed too bold for a family sitcom. The entire segment was immediately cut before airing. Audiences never saw Wally's first kiss on television. Behind the scenes, debates erupted. Was a simple teenage kiss really so dangerous it had to be completely removed? But in the conservative context of 1950s America, it was a line that couldn't be crossed. This incident further proved Leave It to Beaver wasn't just a sitcom, but a battleground where every detail was scrutinized, weighed between moral standards and entertainment needs. At this point, do you still love the show? 11. The original title rejected for being sensitive. Few know that NBC initially planned to name the show Wally and the Beaver. It seemed harmless, but Beaver in American slang carried a sensitive sexual connotation. Keeping that title would have sparked a massive public backlash, ruining the family sitcom's image. Upon realizing the risk, the producers immediately rejected it and demanded a new title. After much debate, Leave It to Beaver was chosen, keeping the central character while staying safe for the public image. This decision saved the show from a media disaster, paving the way for it to become an American cultural icon. 10. Out of budget. The immortal sandwich on set, the behind the scenes of Leave It to Beaver, wasn't always as glamorous as on screen. Though each episode cost a staggering $35,000, a huge sum at the time, the crew still had to cut corners wherever possible. One shocking secret was a sandwich reused across multiple scenes. Instead of making a new one each time, they only replaced the outer bread or lettuce to make it look fresh, while the inside remained the same. Audiences saw an appetizing meal, but in reality, it could be a sandwich that lived for a week on set. The story of the immortal sandwich quickly became an anecdote, revealing the harsh realities of the television industry, where even props were maximized to the fullest. 9. A real alligator in Beaver's bathtub. One of the most shocking moments in Leave It to Beaver was when Beaver brought an alligator to keep in the bathtub. Audiences at the time were certain it was a fake prop, but the truth was entirely different. The crew had rented a real baby alligator. When filming began, the entire set held its breath, watching. A single mistake could lead to an accident, especially with child actors standing near this dangerous creature. Fortunately, everything went smoothly, and the scene became one of the series' most memorable moments. For years, audiences still talked about the real alligator scene as proof of the crew's rare boldness and authenticity. 8. The only sitcom daring to ditch canned laughter. The 1950s were the era of laugh tracks, canned laughter inserted to cue audiences when to laugh. But Leave It to Beaver broke the mold. The producers believed the story and characters were strong enough to generate laughter without prompting. As a result, the show became one of the few sitcoms without a laugh track, offering a genuine and unique experience. This was a risky move, as weak humour could lead to awkward silence. Yet the show proved its boldness was right. The laughter it elicited was real, not forced studio sounds. This choice helped the show feel more real and left a distinct mark on American television history. 7. An episode banned in the UK. Despite being praised as a clean and family-friendly sitcom, Leave It to Beaver still ran into international censorship. One episode, when brought to the UK, was completely banned because of a scene deemed too sensitive for local moral standards. For American audiences, the scene was perfectly normal, just a small slice of the Cleaver family's life. But for British audiences, it crossed the line. This incident highlighted cultural differences between nations, turning the seemingly harmless show into a focal point of cross-border controversy. From then on, Leave It to Beaver solidified its reputation as dangerous in its innocence, a family sitcom that repeatedly pushed the boundaries of 20th century television. 6. Child actor cursed by audiences. Ken Osmond, the actor who played Eddie Haskell, performed so brilliantly that many audiences forgot he was just acting. Eddie Haskell was a sly, mischievous friend who pretended to be polite in front of adults but schemed behind their backs. His unlikability was so memorable that it led to consequences. Ken Osmond received countless hate letters and even personal attacks from viewers. Some audiences believed Eddie was real and hated the character so much they couldn't separate fiction from reality. For Ken, this was immense pressure, but also proof he had embodied the role so well he lived in the public's mind. Eddie Haskell became one of the most notable and controversial supporting characters in sitcom history. What about you? Do you hate Eddie? Share your thoughts on this character in the comments below. 5. June Cleaver hid a height secret behind her dresses. On screen, June Cleaver appeared as the perfect mother, always gentle, polished, and noticeably taller than her two sons. Few knew the secret lay in the high heels Barbara Billingsley had to wear in most scenes. As Jerry Mathers and Tony Dow grew quickly, surpassing her in height, the crew opted for this temporary solution to maintain the image of an authoritative mother always standing above her children. Today, the detail of June wearing heels while cleaning or cooking is often mocked as evidence of the artificial perfection of 1950s television. But in that era, it reinforced the image of a flawless mother, a symbol American audiences wanted to believe in. 4. A national diving record holder became Wally Cleaver. Before becoming a familiar face on screen, Tony Dow was a golden hope for American sports. At just 9 years old, he broke the national diving record and was quickly expected to go far, perhaps even to the Olympics. The pool, the diving board, the applause after a perfect flip, that was the world Tony thought he'd stay in forever. That passion was so strong that no one believed the sports prodigy would abandon it for the spotlight. Yet fate took a strange turn. From a promising athlete, Tony unexpectedly became Wally Cleaver, the gentle older brother in America's iconic family. That turn not only changed the boy's future, but also rewrote American television history. 3. Tony Dow stepped into acting by sheer chance. Tony Dow never intended to be an actor. One day, he simply accompanied a friend to a casting call as a supportive companion. He had no preparation, no script, no rehearsal. His friend, full of expectations, was promptly rejected. But Tony, the boy who tagged along for fun, caught the director's eye. In an instant, his life turned 180 degrees. From an unknown diver, he became a national television star. It was one of Hollywood's strangest twists of fate, a story still retold as proof of life's irony. 2. The friendship between two young stars almost didn't exist. On screen, Wally and Beaver were inseparable brothers. But in real life, the age gap made Jerry Mathers and Tony Dow struggle to find common ground. Jerry was still a little boy, while Tony was entering his teenage years with his own world. They acted together, but off-camera, they went their separate ways. Over time, years of working together under the same spotlight brought their young souls closer. From being distant, they became true friends, then bonded like real brothers. It was a friendship that lasted decades, outliving Hollywood's glamour and proving that sometimes the screen can forge lasting bonds in real life. 1. The first version of the Cleaver family was completely different. On April 23, 1957, audiences first met the Cleaver family through the pilot It's a Small World. But that family was nothing like the one we know. Only Jerry Mathers, Beaver, and Barbara Billingsley, June, retained their roles, while Ward and Wally were played by entirely different actors. The result was a prototype family that felt unfamiliar, lacking the chemistry that later became iconic. Only when the series officially aired months later did the production team bring in Tony Dow as Wally and Hugh Beaumont as Ward. That change defined the Cleaver family audiences would remember forever. A perfect symbol of the American dream of the 1950s. From that moment, Leave It to Beaver was no longer just a sitcom, but a timeless cultural monument. Leave It to Beaver is an immortal monument of American television, where laughter and innocence blend into unforgettable memories. The show not only reflected 1950s family standards, but became a timeless cultural legacy. Each episode is like a delicate slice of the American dream, simple yet powerfully moving. Though more than half a century has passed, the value and allure of Leave It to Beaver remain intact in the hearts of audiences. If you find this story interesting, don't forget to like and share to spread it to more people. And remember to subscribe to the channel to not miss the next cinematic secrets.